I'm gonna do a little research before I actually try this and shoot a spring on myself and end up a very dramatic ending for the video.
I think you guys saw that the strut was completely collapsed.
Welcome back to another episode of Broke Premiere, guys. If you are new to the channel and you like seeing cars go from being worth $500 to $5,000 in a short amount of time, then you're in the right place. Make sure to go down, hit the subscribe button, and make sure to click the notification bell. This way you get alerted when I put out 2 a week. Also, if you're not new to the channel, we've previously been working on my 2005 Hyundai Tucson that I picked up for, I think it was $700. I believe it has 123,000 miles and it was a complete wreck. At first I thought it was just gonna be some paint work and engine work, and now it's turned out to be an everything kind of work. In the last episode, finally did the final buff, but there's been a lot of episodes, done everything from painting the car in the street with spray paint cans, which actually turned out really, really good compared to what the car was. Finally, the last episode, the buff really brought the color of the car out, the shine out really nice. I've done the head gasket on it. I've done the timing belt on it. I've done an exhaust repair on it. A lot of little things, but today is actually going to be the time to replace some struts. Unfortunately, I only got 3 out of the 4 delivered so far. The 4th one should be delivered either tonight or tomorrow, depending when FedEx gets here. But I got lucky in the last episode, right as I was wrapping up, FedEx showed up with these 3 struts. So my goal is to go outside, open this baby up, start ripping apart, trying to figure out which strut to replace first. This is only the shock or strut. I always get that mixed up, even when people explain it, but this is without the spring. The spring is not included in this. So I have to disassemble the previous strut assemblies, and put in the new strut to go with the spring to make a strut assembly. I first have to figure out which one goes to where, because each one has its own corner, and I only have 3 out of the 4, so I think the front left one is the one that I'm missing. I still have to figure out which one goes to where, and then I also don't have the spring removal tool. I don't know if I'm gonna need it. I might, but my thought is if I can unscrew the strut in the car, just the strut bolt, and then slowly release the spring down, I should be able to take the strut and spring apart inside the car. It's my thought. I'm gonna do a little research before I actually try this and shoot a spring on myself and end up a very dramatic ending for the video. So I am gonna check that out quick, but I believe I can do it that way. I feel like I've done it before. I don't know. I'm gonna do a little research, but that is my goal for right now. Go down, start changing some struts. If I have some time, I'll probably start doing some interior work as well, kind of see where this video ends up. Don't think this is gonna be that easy. So I'm gonna get after it. See you guys in a bit. All right, that was quick. I did quite a few searches different ways, and I think it still might be possible, but because it's such a thin kind of assurance that it's gonna work, I'm gonna go get the tool. I don't need to be stuck here with a strut up in the air, and I just don't need that problem. So I'm gonna run to the store quick, get the tool, then we'll get back, start getting at it. All right, so I'm back from the store. I ended up getting the compressor spring set tool thing. Luckily it's a rental, so if you ever need to do this, you can rent it for free, basically. At least AutoZone does it. It's 53 bucks, but then once you bring it back, they just refund the whole thing for you. And for those of you that have never seen how this works, basically there's 2 rods here. You put one on each side of the spring. You basically kind of fit it until it actually falls into the correct spot on the spring, because the spring's on level. And then once you're there, you basically just slide these pins in to lock them into place, then compress it down, usually with an impact gun of some sort, and it kind of compresses the spring. I'm gonna show you the whole thing, but basically, yeah, this is a great little tool. I've seen my brother do it once 15 years ago. I kind of have the idea. It's pretty simple, probably easier than what I was going to try to do. But what I would like to do right now is I think I'm going to try to tackle the front just because it's easily accessible as far as bolts. Might be a little harder as far as actually removing it. I don't know. Got to kind of wait until I can see when I get in there. But I think I'm going to remove that first because if I do the rears, I'm going to have to remove all the plastic moldings to get to the mounting bolts to get to them. So I'm going to do the front first, which will kind of be easier, but probably harder at the same time in different ways, and see how this all goes. I will most likely have to bring the springs down into the basement. But before I do any of that, I first have to figure out which one is which and which one has to go in the front and which side of the front. So I'm going to do that right now. Start cracking away at this thing. See you in a bit. All right guys, the spring is out. Came out pretty easy. I'm actually pretty surprised how easy it came out. So basically what I want to do is take this thing, bring it in the backyard, disassemble it, use that little compression kit to compress the spring, break the strut free, put in the new one, put it back on, and if I can do it down here, my little dungeon, then it'll be a lot quieter than anything out here. So I'm gonna go get after that right now. Hopefully this all goes smooth. So I'm gonna get after it. See you in a bit. All right guys, that was a little harder than I expected. It wasn't really hard, it just took patience. Basically the spring compressor, once I tightened it a certain amount on one side, it would then get stuck and I wouldn't be able to get my socket out. So I was fighting that the majority of the time. After I was able to get that done, it was not so much of a big deal afterwards. I think you guys saw that the strut was completely collapsed. Even after I pressed it in, I tried to pull it back out just to see if the strut lengths were the exact same as the new one and the old one. I couldn't even pull it back out, so the whole thing was shot. I'm imagining all of them are gonna be like that, if not 3 out of the 4, because this thing is very bumpy. So anyway, it took a little longer than I expected. It was a little harder than I expected, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get to the rest in this episode. Unfortunately, this is gonna have to be a short one. It's the missus' birthday tomorrow, so I have to make and edit this video today. So hopefully I can get to the other 2, at least one more. We'll see how this one ends up. Anyway, I'm gonna get after installing it. See you in a bit. All right guys, the front strut is in. I now have to do the rears. I was gonna just disassemble all the plastics to get to the rears, but they're pretty easy. Check it out. Look at this. It's easier than opening the hood. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to try to remove probably just the passenger side for right now. See how that goes. If I can get it all the way off, replace the spring, bring it back out, get it in time, then I might do the second one. It depends. If this takes me like 30 minutes, maybe an hour, I might move into the second one, or I'll save the second one when I have the last one come in from shipping. So I'm gonna get after this right now, see how far I can get. If it goes smooth, I might just transition into the next one. So that's my goal. I only got a little bit of time left, so I'm gonna get after it. All right guys, I was able to get that rear strut in. It actually went in easier than I thought. I did have to re-loosen the main nut to the strut 2 times to set the spring correctly. Anyway, there should be a lot coming out in the next episode. So until then, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you then. Later guys.